Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and children. Just going to wait to make sure that I can post the live stream. Oh, it's okay. It was already muted. It was so sad watching poor Owen Benjamin with Jeranism yesterday. Poor guy. It's sad seeing people duped and deluded. But this is not about that. This is about your power. This thing that people say, oh, all you have to do is say no. It's like, who's telling you this? And why are they telling you this? And does it really work? You're under arrest. No. Oh, okay, you're not under arrest now. It doesn't really work. Okay, you have to be careful of people who tell you how simple things are. Oh, all you have to do is say no. Nobody can take your garden. Apart from if they want to take your garden, they just take your garden, right, Owen Benjamin? It's so silly. But what is your power? Your power is the power to question and act. You can act in any way you want, and you can question in any way you want, and you can disobey in any way you want. Unfortunately, the opposition have power too. And that's how it works. If you want to do nothing, then do nothing. If you want to act, then act. There's no instructions on how to act, on what to do, what to say. But you have to know that you can act. So, in Canada, it's just been a new law has been passed because Canadians are very bright people. So the Prime Minister of Canada has just lessened the punishments for pedophiles. Sorry, I'm just looking for something that I can screen share. Pedophiles, child murderers, human traffickers, all of them. Now, instead of having a trial by a jury of their peers, they can have a trial by selected judges, like happens in Britain too. And they can be fined instead of sent to jail. That's brilliant, isn't it? And you can just listen to it and not act if you're in Canada, or you can act. Don't know what your acts will be, but I urge you to act. Don't just sit there and have a story to tell your grandchildren about how you didn't act. If your grandchildren, if you still have access to them. So questions here. Okay, here we go. You know how the Flat Earth Society says that the Earth is rising 9.8 meters per second squared, you know, to balance out, to address the question of things dropping at 9.8 meters per second squared. And that's absolutely ludicrous, right? I'm just pulling up a video. It's fantastic. Here, 1 second. Let me mute it. I don't know how much of this will play. Here we are. I'm just putting it to somewhere. Right. Make a note. 138.8 meters a second. 138.8 meters a second. Not per second per second. Okay, not 138. And then double that. And then add another 138 like the gravitational constant. No. Instead of a constant acceleration, this would be a constant speed. 138.8888 meters per second. What am I talking about? You'll see. So when Globlings tried to strawman the Flat Earth Society, which is a shill organization, regarding 8 meters per second squared, which is silly. I mean, there's no reason to think that that's going on, really. I mean, there's no way to demonstrate that that is the case. If it was the case, there'd be no way of demonstrating it. So there's no way of demonstrating this, but this is what the Globelings believe. This is the helical model. Our solar system is a vortex. And Globelings don't like this, even though this is an actual representation of the globe model. I'm going to play. Okay, so, and I'm going to explain. These streams are only there, the yellow stream from the sun and the various blue streams are only there to make it easier to keep track of the motion of the various different planets around the sun. If we call that direction up, we can call it north, okay? But if we call it up, 138 meters per second, 138.8 meters per second, the direction that way. That's right. Interesting. It sounds like it's just not true, doesn't it? It does. It sounds like it's not true because, well, you know, the north of the globe Earth would have the Earth traveling up, whilst the south of the Earth would have the Earth traveling down. Relativity is applicable here, isn't it? So all of these things, and you can argue it's not to scale. That's okay. It's fine. You can argue it's not to scale. Of course it's not to scale. There isn't scale to fantasy. You can scale fantasy up and down as much as you like. But hey, wait, here's the Earth. Here's the Earth. As it moves around the sun at approximately 66,000 miles an hour, it moves with the sun at approximately 500,000 miles an hour. And I'm only talking about the journey that's following the sun, not its orbital speed. 138.8 meters a second. How fast the Earth is moving up in space. That's right. Look, here you are. You can pretend you're looking up now, moving up in space, continuously up. It doesn't matter that Globelings will say there's no up in space. Like, oh, you don't understand 3D reality, do you? And it's really simple. You don't have to be a genius to figure out how fast the Earth would have to be moving. Here it is. Up that direction, north, through space. So when people laugh at the 9.8 meters per second of the charlatany Flat Earth Society, which is ludicrous, okay, we can laugh back. I mean, you don't have to accept the Flat Earth Society. I certainly don't. But we can laugh back and say, oh wait, isn't your planet Earth's motion 138.8 meters a second? That way in space? And yet there's no discernible change north to south with things like weight or anything. Nothing at all. Almost as if it wasn't moving like that whatsoever. And when you start talking forces like centrifugal and centripetal, saying, oh, okay, so you say it's the minuscule centrifugal force of the daily rotation, okay, and also minuscule centrifugal force of the orbital rotation, okay, and also minuscule force of the 138.8 meters a second, also. The Earth rising up, if you're in the northern hemisphere, the Earth is rising up according to the globe towards you at a tangent, depending on where you are. If you're at the North Pole, directly towards you, okay? Up 138 meters a second. If you're in Antarctica, you know, making sandwiches for the crew of the One More Orbit people, it's moving down 138 meters per second. It's not really, but you can point this out. This is the power I'm talking about. We have power. The reason that flat Earth is controlled, and it is controlled, is because it has power. The individuals have power. Now, when the individuals get together, they have more power. And that's how it's sold. If we get together, we'll have more power. Say, wait a second, if we get together, we can then be derailed. Because that's how you co-opt any kind of enterprise. If you have a huge company, the government comes along and says, we want to put people in your board of trustees, or we demand that we be in a position where we can dictate that you sell your company. That's what we want. Say, oh, well, there are rules to say that you can do that. So they do. Stop screen sharing, sorry. So, and now I am going to look in the chat. I've got a series of things I want to go over. Let me refresh because everything's a bit, okay. So yeah, that's basically it. We all individually have power. If we didn't have power, there wouldn't be organizations with greater numbers, each contributing their little modicum of power to quash things. When people want to make a band to have more power, which is why they want a band, if they don't realize that the band can be co-opted and then directed, like David Wise directing Jeranism, then the people who are being co-opted are stupid. It's been done all of the time. And the world has never been changed by some great big organization. The world has been changed by individuals. That's right. Take Tesla. Let's go back in history. And let's take Tesla and let's make him finish his degree. And then let's make him work for the electrical company of Hungary. There you go. Let's see what happens now. Of course, it wasn't an electrical company of Hungary. It was things were just starting. He could have worked in Hungary. Could have worked in Serbia, of course. No, take him to America. Let's see what happens. Oh, but in America, he eventually dissociates from everybody and goes and does his own thing. People contribute to what he's doing, but they're not directing and dictating. And lo and behold, we have the modern world. And there are flat earthers who urge togetherness without realizing you can't guarantee, other than yourself, you can't guarantee that the person you're speaking to isn't an agent. You can't. It's sad, but it's true. None of us can guarantee that any other flat earther is not an agent. Guarantee. We can't. And I know this from experience. So, what's the option? Join a group and hope that it doesn't get derailed? And obey the rules that are imposed by that group? Like, oh, you don't watch that channel. Sorry, 1 second. Oh, we don't talk about him, or we don't talk about her. Or you don't, and you continue doing what you would like to do and see what happens. 1 second. So, what are you going to do, people in the chat? Are you going to join a band and all work together for the benefit of everything else? Are you going to trust everybody in the band? Are you going to work in small groups? You see, the smaller the group, the easier it is to detect an agent. Say you're working in a group with 5. It's going to be very easy to detect an agent, isn't it? Now work in a group of 100. Is it just as easy? So when you have an Owen Benjamin being co-opted, I mean, he's already co-opted with the whole Christianity and exploring the plane. Greetings, you can have arranged too. Sorry. When you see an innocent like Owen Benjamin being co-opted, it's kind of sad. But he could be an agent too. Who knows? Who knows? Rocklover writes, David Weiss is a bad one. Keep away from him. Advice from a geocentric globe believer. That's right. So, David Weiss, go and watch the Jeranism thing with your discerning mind on. By the way, I have to say, before coming here, I had the misfortune of going to my sister's house where I watched something that made my IQ drop by about 10 points. It was wealth porn. Housewives of something. Yeah, I could feel my IQ just dropping. And now, like Groblings will attest, I must have like a 30-point IQ. And that's entertainment for the masses. That's right. Wealth porn for the masses. That's just splendid, isn't it? But never mind that. Go and watch Jeranism's Hangout with, by the way, I can tell you this because I was there in the time. David Weiss couldn't wait to be in touch and communicating with Jeranism because he wasn't. When I was in that world, David Weiss didn't really communicate with Jeranism. Jeranism didn't really communicate with many people at all. No flat earthers. Like, no, he was like keeping himself to himself and doing his own thing. Ay, poor guy. Anyway, watch and listen to the platitudes, the half-baked, the nothingness that comes out of Weiss's mouth, and then watch him promote a map of the earth that any intelligent or educated person can say is wrong. They can simply say, South America is not larger than North America. What makes you think that South America is larger than North America? In fact, what makes you think South America is larger than Eurasia? It isn't. You know, Russia alone is larger than the entirety of South America. Russia alone is larger than the entirety of South America. Not on the Gleasons, it isn't. Krauts writes, Antonio, if I was FE, I would join yours. Mine what? At least you tried to come up with some new things and disagree to some mainstream FE that is so wrong. Well, thanks for that. You would join mine? I don't have a mind to join. I appreciate what you're saying, but I don't have a thing for people to join. I'm not a party guy. I don't ask people to join me. I love engaging with people and communicating and exchanging ideas, but I don't, apart from if I'm doing something like the sun tracking sessions, I don't ask people to join me. When I did do, asking for people to send me their maps so we could have a kind of tombola and people could look at various different maps and see which best fits what they think the world is. None, like none. And you see why? Because everybody's working with the same idea of the sun as a localized body of light in the sky. And that's not what the sun is. How can you determine that that's not what the sun is? By actually doing readings. By doing readings, looking at where the sun is, the azimuth and elevation. And look, well, okay, well, the Gleasons is wrong. That doesn't work. Like, it really doesn't work. Not with a localized sun. So if you're then removing the localized sun, then you have to, well, consider the reason for the longitudes in the first place. Because the longitudes being straight and spreading out like a spider web is the reason that the Gleasons is wrong. And that's based on a localized sun. And if you're removing the localized sun to match observations like the southern summer, you remove the localized sun. Now you have to remove the longitudes that were based on a localized sun. See how that works? But poor stupid people like Jeran, he doesn't see that. Weiss wants to make sure that people don't see that. And he doesn't want to make sure that people don't see that so he can sell apps. He wants to make sure people don't see that so that people can say, but Russia alone is larger than South America in the real world. And therefore, put off anybody. Tell you what I'm going to do, guys. The next time that I hear, if any of you hears about any of this street activism going on in Britain, please let me know. I will go and I will debunk the flat earthers. I will just go and debunk the flat earthers. Unless they happen to have my map, in which case, well, I won't be able to debunk that. But if they don't have my map, I will go and debunk them nice, clearly, and loudly. So if any of you who are in Britain hear about it, please let me know. Harry Baird writes, have your own adventure. Why? Because you are anyway. That's right. That's right. And you know what? All the way back at the beginning of the Flat Earth, there were people, even people like Flat Earth Reset, whose real name is Jeff Stewart, or whose original name was Jeff Stewart. Even he was saying all of this, joining hands and kumbaya, is wrong. Eric Dubay, all of this is wrong. Matt Powerland, all of this is wrong. Star Gods, all of this, getting together and kumbaya and happiness and loveliness and puppies and kittens, and it's all going to be great as long as you all do what we tell you. That these guys were pointing out is this is how you co-opt a movement. First, you create the movement, okay? Because a philosophical pursuit is not a movement. People can choose to call it a movement externally if they want a way of assessing the situation. They can say, oh, well, that thing, these people engaging in that kind of inquiry, that's a movement. That's the inquiry movement. But the people doing various different inquiries are not a movement, like science is not a movement. So when you have groups saying, oh, it's a movement, and then people inside the movement saying, we're a movement, and this is how we behave, and they don't write a manifesto. They just do it by association. Oh, you're listening to who? Oh, we don't listen to him. That kind of thing. Okay? So this message won't reach Jeranism. Not if Weiss hears it first. That's because Weiss is a gatekeeper. But you have to question, you have to have a supercilious eyebrow over the fact that Jeranism works with Truth Frequency Radio, who offered me a job with them and I declined. After thinking about it, and Steer said it would be great, and it was Weiss who broached me with it. Oh yes, I will call it Disguise the Limit. See, because I have a Spanish accent and it sounds like I'm saying the sky. This is old hat. I've done this before. Truth Frequency Radio is owned by whom? Who are they associated with? And you have, if you have a discerning mind, you will do this. You'll say, hey, you know how all these YouTubers were saying, we're leaving YouTube because they're stopping monetizing us, and they haven't left YouTube? Remember a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and how all those guys are still on YouTube? All saying, we're leaving, we're going to BitChute and all other stuff. And they go to BitChute and they get maybe 1/10 the views. And I kind of like the kick from YouTube, so I'm going back. So Eric Dubay on BitChute doesn't get anywhere near the views that he gets on YouTube. Now, the people who say we're leaving, they didn't really leave. It was all didn't go anywhere. And the reason that they were saying they were going to leave is because YouTube was censoring, well, because YouTube was imposing new rules. No, completely wrong rules, or rules that you can disagree with. Absolutely. And I do disagree with them. But it is their platform, you know? If you want a platform with different rules, make your own platform. But Truth Frequency Radio, listen to Jeranism, streaming Truth Frequency Radio through YouTube, the Truth Frequency show with David Weiss. Listen to the adverts from Truth Frequency Radio explaining to you, the listener, listening through YouTube, that YouTube has them banned from YouTube whilst you're listening to them through YouTube. That's not true. It is not true. That's called a lie. So when you have a Truth Frequency Radio telling you straightforward, prima facie lies, you can rest assured that it's not very truth oriented. And then look at the background of Truth Frequency Radio. Who started it? Was it a pedophile? Good Lord, they're everywhere, aren't they? I see somebody without a wrench. Greshach Studios. I just say the facts. I don't care how you feel. Absolutely. In fact, I was going to call this. I was going to call this hangout expletive to offense. So F offense. And then I thought, no, don't call it that. Call it because that would probably just get it blacklisted straight away. Call it the power of indifference. I'm a lady, don't you know? Whatever. The power of indifference. And I thought, no, actually what you want to discuss is people's power, the power that we all have. Let's face it, we all have the power to end people's lives. Murderers do. That's quite a significant amount of power. I mean, that's taking an individual and making their adventure in the world game over. To that individual, that's very, very powerful. We have that power. Thankfully, we don't exercise it because then, well, there'll be more problems. Apart from when the government wants us to exercise it, in which case, if you're a good shot, then well done. You ended that guy's game. So the thing is, like, power. So when I watch Jeranism thing and I see Owen Benjamin talking about power and the wizardry and all of this, and I see Weiss in there, and I see poor easy to dupe Jeranism in there, and I think, oh, this is very interesting. I see people exercising power here. I see Jeranism exercising there. I'm a bit naive. I don't think there's anything wrong with David Weiss. What? He was out there as a 9/11 shill. Oh, this isn't 9/11. This is flat Earth. And David Weiss, we don't talk that. Anthony THC went in there, said a comment, dunk, got banned. Didn't say anything against Weiss. Didn't say anything nasty. Just dunk, banned. I doubt my comment made it very long there. All I said was, ha, 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 David Weiss. It happens. And people who see, there are Globalings in the chat right now who know how these strategies are played. And they can see that and they go, wow, okay, so this is how it is. You have a great swathe of flat earthers who are vulnerable and easy pickings. Let's see who's feeding on them. Oh, it's these guys. These guys are the ones that are feeding on them. Okay. Let's see who's not feeding on them. Oh, it's these guys. These are the bad guys. These are the Powerlands, the Dubays, the Antonios, the Beyond Imaginary Curve, even the Orphan Reds. They're the bad guys. These are the good guys because they say words like sin. They say words like sin. They say words like possessed, demonic, demons. They say those words in their language. It's all so big, it can't be humans. It's got to be demons. It's like, that's very interesting way of looking at the world. It's demons, not humans. Okay, run me through this. There's a God that gave your people a name and gave a different group of people a different name. That God can do anything he wants, but he doesn't mind letting humans come and mess with you. Demons come and mess with you. It's all just a test of your faith, is it? So a few hangouts ago, I made a hangout about how Jesus found me. And what I was doing was I was saying, look, if you were to compare the Western mentality, which has as a parasite Christianity, The Western mentality altogether is better than the Middle Eastern mentality, which has a different religious parasite. That's what I was saying. They're still religious parasites. So when this religious parasite has people saying, oh, that must be a demon, you see how the parasite works. Chloe Wright writes, Orphan Red is an incompetent retard. She's also a member of Mensa. A member of Mensa. Oh, she could just be a retard anyway. Oh, okay, let's have a quick look. I'm going to look at Chloe Wright's channel. Let's see what Chloe Wright has on her channel. Because it could be that Chloe Wright has been out in the wilderness explaining profoundly simple truths, or even not so simple truths, and nobody's really noticed. Could be. Let's have a look. Chloe Wright subscribers, although that's not the end of the world. 9 uploads, none. 2 videos. Sorry, videos none. Uploads 2 videos. Balloon with GoPro to near space, full HD. Wow. And Marilyn Manson, Californication. Okay. Sorry, you were saying what about Orphan Red? This has got to be very embarrassing for you. I'm going to give you a wrench anyway, so that you can't say that you were censored here. And now I'm looking in the chat at anybody else who doesn't have a wrench. Okay. You know what it means when you have a wrench? It means you can say whatever you like. Right. Okay. Now, Ranty Flat Earth. This is interesting as well. Ranty Flat Earth. This guy who's had a channel for however long and has twice the subscribers that I have on this channel that's been up for 6 months. Let's see what's going on next year. This time next year. You see, people can kind of tell when somebody's a bit dishonest and a bit full of shit, like Ranty Flat Earth. Somebody who's doing things for whatever reasons. He can be a flat earther, he can be not a flat earther, but who's a bit thick and doesn't get it that he's a bit thick. So when somebody says, dude, you're getting sunburnt, and they're like, no, I don't sunburn. I never burn in the sun. And then 2 days later, they're on, they go on screen mega sunburnt because they're sunburnt when they were told that they were being sunburnt, and then blames chemtrails for the sunburn. That kind of not bright person. This bright person wants a platform to say things and stuff and doesn't really have anything to say. So other people go and help that person out. Why are you helping that person out? Why don't you say that, the Adam Meakin, why don't you say what you're saying yourself on your videos and then sharing those? You know, people will share them, and then people can pay attention to what you have to say, which is a lot more interesting than what any of the other people have to say, you know? So anyway, that's just advice. That's just advice from me. Nobody has to take it, obviously. Angel Fire writes, everyone who discovered the earth is flat came to it on their own, not from believing based on a group. Absolutely. But then you have people who urge group mentality and collaborators. You know, let's collaborate. Like, okay, with what? Oh, well, with everything. Well, no, I don't know what you want to collaborate with. So yeah, Shane Carless, Ranty's Roundtable, yeah. Geez, talk about boring. I tried to listen to it because the Adam Meakin was there and I like him. And I say, oh, once he finished, like, oof, wow, this really has nothing. No wonder this channel that has half the subscribers gets more views. That's interesting. And all that I'm doing right now is talking to the freaking screen. All left on is said, look, you know when the Globlings say your flat earth rising at 9.8 meters per second squared, And you can say, no, that's a bunch of nonsense, but isn't your globe rising at 138.8 meters per second? Isn't that what your globe is doing? Like this, up that way, 138.8 meters a second. Globelings, look, that way. I'm choosing to call that up. You could have an up in space, by the way. Well, how would we say what up is? You would just say away from the Earth, away, no matter how far, how distant you are from your globe Earth. If you're moving away from it, that would be up. There you go. There you go. Just like up in your globe Earth now, you just continue it into outer space. It would still be a direction, wouldn't it? That would have an opposite direction, which would be a down. And then the rest of the 3D world. But I'm choosing to say that that's up. We can say northwards. Your globe Earth is moving northwards, in line with the Earth's axis, northwards, 138.8 meters a second. Did you know that, Globelings? You didn't, did you? You hadn't really worked it out. You hadn't sat down and gone, oh, that doesn't make no sense. That way, 138 meters per second, whilst that way, and whilst that way. You can't feel any of it. Oh, it's because we're used to it. No difference here, 138 meters versus here, 138 meters. Used to it, is that what it is? So if you went from, well, say Murmansk to, say, Punta Arenas, you're not used to that. You're used to, well, the ground coming up at you, 138, at a very slight angle to your feet, yeah? And then you go to Punta Arenas, and now it's moving away from your feet at 138. You're not used to that. That's very distinct from what you're used to. Dim-dims. This is a fantasy. This is a fantasy. It can be made into a toy. This is a toy. You can't use any of the globes that you might purchase. You can't use any of them for measuring anything. And they tell you, this is for illustration purposes only. Some of them might say for educational purposes, but only in terms of like, this is what a sphere is, and this is how it might turn around an axis. Not, and this is where Australia is, and this is, no, you can't use it for that. That's why Globelings like Simon Dan don't use it. See, some time ago, I asked Simon Dan to compare his globe to mine and measure the distance between two places, just any two places, like say Western Africa and Eastern Brazil. Just measure that distance and then measure, say, the height of Africa. Just compare those and pass me the details and I compare it with mine. No, no thanks. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The globe is a fantasy. And all I'm doing here is saying these things. They're simple things. Like, for God's sake, the curvature calculation. This point to this point. If you can see the bottom on water of this point, then from the bottom, you can calculate the way back. In fact, you can just pretend you're here. And you find that, oh, actually, you can't be on the surface of the Earth. No, you must be hundreds of meters high. Why? Because you must be if it's a sphere. Gilby, 23.83. Oh, right. Okay. So you're doing a much larger. Yes. Oh, yeah. So the 138 meters per second is on the Earth's journey through the, well, around the Milky Way. But then the Milky Way is also moving at a much bigger speed too, to do that speed. The fact that you have to remove up from space, which is removing one of the cardinal dimensions from the 3D world should tell anyone that's not reality. And unfortunately, we get to the point where you can't have a discussion with people about things like that because they're not bright enough to keep up. They're not bright enough for you to go, look, I can make you a 3D thing and then ask you to remove one of those dimensions and see if you have the same 3D thing. And they go, well, no. Okay, now do it with space and remove one of those dimensions, the up and down dimension. Just remove it and see if you have something that's the same thing as a 3D world thing. So when you have the ISS up there in space, like, it's not up there in space. If it was up there in space, the people would be being pulled towards the outside of the curve or dropped towards the inside of the curve, inside the ISS. The humans would either be too dense and be pulled by gravity, or they would be not dense enough and traveling too fast to stay in orbit and would drift away to the outside wall, so outside of the curve. Anyway, right, now I'm in the chat. Metal Dog Bright, sorry. How come David Weiss seems to be involved with lots of stuff? It's like he's everywhere. Is he a handler? Yes, he's a handler. I told Jeranism this directly. David Weiss is a handler. He was trying to handle me. In fact, he was handling me. I didn't realize until after the fact. Like, oh, wait a second. So those times that I discussed something a little bit abstract, that he said I wouldn't bother with that, it's too complex. And I dropped it because he said it was too complex. Later I went and I picked it up and it wasn't too complex at all. I explained it and people said, dude, yeah, that makes sense. That's what they do. When Steer came and stayed with me, the minute I went to start drawing the map, oh no, we're doing a hangout. It's called gatekeeping, and that's what handlers do. So David Weiss is there to gatekeep Jeranism from experiences that Jeranism might have that make Jeranism think, shit, the whole conference world is a world of Christian crazies. It's a world of Christian crazies. And he's participating with it. And I say Christian crazies to distinguish that from Christian non-crazies. Even though all Christians are crazy, just like all Muslims and Jews. That's what gatekeepers do. So yes, good point. He is a handler. Oh, Uppercuts is talking about somebody debunking chemistry. He's talking about Peter and Pete. I love those guys. I think they're brilliant. So by the way, they have a book. They wrote a book. It's available, an ebook. I haven't read it yet because I want to finish what I'm working on and then read it because I don't want. I want what I'm writing to be clearer. And at the end of it, I will read their book and I will read another big, significant book about light and discuss it in the book that I've just written. So I'm going to explain that I'm going to do this in the book at the start, the prologue. I'm going to explain this is what I'm going to do, and then going to write the book, then I'm going to read their book, this other book, and then discuss whether there are any anything that matches what I've just discussed in the book. Oh dear. Love, Wisdom, Harmony, Rice. Yes, Sandy. I asked Bob from Globebusters a question and he descended into ad homs after timing me out. Then a girl told him he was acting like a child with ad homs and he cried victim and banned her. Bob Nodell from Globebusters. I can't believe I participated with those guys. Flat Earth Reset. You're getting a wrench. As you see, I unbanned you. I hope one day you'll have the common sense, if you haven't already, to remove the stupid video that you made where I was exposing a pedophile and you played it as if I was declaring myself to be one. Okay? Okay. But other than that, never mind. So Uppercut, if you have a link to it, please link it. I don't have one right now. I've got the book on my desktop, but I don't have a link to it. Yeah, Sandy123. Yeah, I read parts of it and I thought, oh no, this is big. I wanna savor this. So we'll read it when I'm focused on actually reading. Charles Martel, of course you can have a wrench. Okay, so Flat Earth Reset. I think your name is Jeff Stewart. I could be wrong. You said I'm wrong. I don't think so. I think you, in fact, let's see. Oh, no, doesn't matter. I was going to show you on Nathan Oakley as Jeff Stewart with your Flat Earth Reset. Anyway, I could be wrong. I could be not wrong. But I have pointed out to people that at the start of all of this, you were one of the guys that are saying all of this kumbaya business is a crock of shit. These people are agents. You have to keep your eyes open because movements get co-opted. You, or maybe not you, Jeff Stewart. No, IPS didn't start that. IPS didn't start that. IPS hasn't got a clue what he's talking about. He doesn't know whether he's coming or going. Should I show you all the email that IPS sent me when he was when I was telling everybody that his name is Alan Connor, and he was asking me to please just stop saying that because he's got a young family, just about. He's got a wife or partner, and he's they're going to have a baby, and for the sake, would I please stop? Maybe he could buy a painting from me, maybe like $1,000 or $2,000, something like that. I could show you that email if you like. From IPS. Why would IPS try to bribe me by buying one of my paintings for $1,000 so that I would stop saying the name Alan Connor? Why would he do that? Anyway, no, it wasn't IPS, by the way. Sandy123 says, go on. Okay. Rock Lover, yep. Alan Connor is IPS. That's right. Texas Apple, IPS stayed at the Nodell's house. Fun fact. That's right. No, Jacob Vigil. Come on. Flat Earth Reset. A vigil is something that you hold in contemplation of a person or an event. Okay? Jacob Vigil is a made-up name. Alan Connor is just a normal name. That's his real name. And because I was telling you and MGTV and other people that that was his real name, he sent me an email to say, please stop saying that. If that's not good enough for you, then I'm sorry, but nothing will be. Okay? Like, think about it, Jeff. Come on, think about it. Why would he ask me to stop saying Alan Connor? If that wasn't his name, he'd be like, go ahead, dude. You're just sending people down a rabbit trail. But it is. Just like Tim Osman. Tim Osman protesting that he wasn't Jason Hornbury. Like, oh, really? Well, if that's the wrong guy, why didn't you just say, yeah, you got me, come and catch me? Right, let me see if I can find the email. Angel 5451. We have two parts of our brains. One part synthesizes vision and imagination, the right side. The other part analyzes, left side. So the mindset of the analytical doesn't see or imagine. The mindset of the analytical. Yes. So that's why they can't put things together. When you say to them, dude, don't you understand? If you remove one of the dimensions, you don't have reality. Not the reality that we call reality, which is a three-dimensional world. Let's see, what's his name? Let me see. I'm looking for the email, by the way. Oh, Larson, isn't it? Oh, somebody remind me what his name is in the chat. Please write. I forget what his name. One of his names. His art name. If you can remember IPS's art name, I think that's through which he was emailing me. So the education system has us using and developing an analytical mind muscles that leaves the synthetic side weak. Yes, of course it does. That's why they do it. I could feel that happening at school. Any of you who have children right now, okay, like children who are not, you know, younger than 14, 15, okay, who are at school, if they're doing art, find out whether they're enjoying it. Because you'll know your children and you'll know whether or not they have enjoyed art, and you'll know whether or not they're doing art at school, and just find out whether they're enjoying the art that they're doing at school. Because what they're doing at schools is they're trying to kill the love of art in the human, because artists can change the world very, very quickly. I'm looking for the name. I'm still not seeing it. I think it's Jack Larson or something like that. Right, here, I think I might have it. Yeah, Jack Larson. He's sending me emails from, I hadn't even read this one. Discussions he was having, or battles he was having with MGTV. Oh, come on. 1 second. I'll find it later. Oops. Geez, I really hadn't realized that there was this much. I have it. Are you ready? Jeff Stewart or Flat Earth Reset. Here comes an email from IPS asking me to stop telling people that his name is Alan Connor. Okay. Jack Larson 9gmail.com to Antonio Subirats. Ditch the Alan Connor thing. It's not anyone's business anyway, but it will cause trouble for my kid's mother. Do you mind? We can buy some art or something to make this go over smooth. Thanks. $1,500? My answer, no deal, man. I'm happy to call her truth. I have no ill will towards you. I hope the guy gets better. The guy's broken from having been abused as a child. Things would have been better if you set your mind to exposing the agents instead of those trying to expose them. But oh well. Sure. Flat Earth Reset gets it wrong half the time, but the other half he gets it right. Same with MGTV. Remember, the ones ultimately behind all of this are Jesuits who also claim ownership of your child. And it's their agents that we're exposing. So keep the $1,500. Spend it on your child. Laters, Antonio. Did you see that? Ditch the Alan Connor thing. Did you see? Now, you might be really stupid and think, well, that doesn't mean anything. In which case, I'm afraid I really can't help you. But never mind. There you go. So, what was David Wise doing? Oops. Hey. What was David Wise and Patrick Steer and Nathan Oakley and Bob Nodell, what were they all doing? Supporting IPS when IPS was sending death threats to people. What were they doing? Doesn't sound very loving. Sounds a bit sinful. In fact, according to the Bible, including the Jewish version, you know, the Old Testament, to bear false witness is a sin. And the Jews don't get the forgiveness from Jesus because that wasn't part of their religion. So for Patrick Steer to bear false witness about being raped, that's a sin. And like I just said, they don't get the forgiveness of the Christians, you know, because they don't believe any of that. Funny, really, isn't it? Because all of these kind of things, they end up consuming people. Anyway, talk about Antonio banging Orphan Red. Somebody's actually made a channel called that. Yeah, I'm not getting a wrench. Just interesting that would be somebody would choose to make a channel. Actually, go to the trouble of starting a YouTube channel so they could call it that. Anyway, Adrian Martin, all the threats IPS Alan Connor Vigil sent, all effing people should be dead till now. Yeah, it's just. Oh, wait a second. What's this, Rock Lover? Jeff Stewart and Tracy Stewart did the 2 Patricia expose videos on Flat Earth Truth channel. They was made for Pat by the Stewarts to give Pat a backstory. Angus Evans. If Patricia Steer hadn't made the rape allegations, would you believe she's trans? Angus Evans. I don't believe Steer is trans. I know Steer is trans. I'm not going to go on about it because I've explained it before. But just for you, I saw with these eyes the inside of the vagina that's the same color as the outside of the vagina. Just like no natural vagina ever. Do with that what you like. Yes, okay. Flat Earth Reset. research rise. IPS has been doing this for many years to lots of people, and it isn't limited to flat Earth. Like many people look at something trending and the money where money can be made. Absolutely, like half the Christians. Yes, he was first doing it. He first tried to infiltrate. And remember when he said, "Haha, it was all a joke. I only went to the flat Earth to infiltrate, to write an article or write a book." Remember that, flat earthers? That some flat earthers have forgotten about. He first tried it with Anonymous, who were first battling the Church of Scientology. Anyway, Sandy123, ignore Antonio. Yeah, I will. It's okay. John C. Oddity. Ew, indeed, dude. Yeah. Angus Evans. It doesn't seem right. Of course it doesn't seem right, because it isn't right. Sure shot. Do you think participation in government should be voluntary? It is. It is voluntary. I don't know. I mean, if you live in Britain or the US or Canada, it's voluntary. Participation in the government is voluntary. B Mars, you can have a wrench too. Oh, if I can get to you. Huh? Yeah. Isn't it funny that this channel should be a safe haven for people to say stuff? It's sad, really. So now PMARS and I have had some not very kind words for each other. But he has a wrench now. And we'll see. I've done this before. We'll see whether he's a complete cretin or whether he's not a complete cretin. We'll see. By the way, I don't know what you were saying about... I forget who you were talking about, who you said has pedophiles as moderators in... Oh, yeah, Gem Panda. I don't know anything about that. I'd love to... If there's truth to it, I would love to know. Flat Earth Reset, I never heard that. I laughed when Patrick suggested a difference in vagina color based on race. Maybe in labia. No bueno. Rise uppercut. Very good. You want to answer how somebody with a high social media presence for many years was able to keep it secret? No school friends would see her. Angus Evans, you've explained, so you get this, that it's not normal for somebody like Stay to not have school friends. And now you're saying you won't answer how someone with a high social media presence, not really high social media presence, remember, for many years, not really for many years, for 3, was able to keep it secret, was exposed by yours truly. And then you say no school friends would see her. What school friends? It's a transgender, for God's sake. It used to be a dude. Then it had the brow shaved, the eyebrows raised, the cheeks pumped, the jaw shaved a little bit, and the lips pumped. Fake tits, inverted penis, hip padding, done. You wouldn't recognize your own brother if he went through it. Angus Evans, so get wise, for God's sake. M. Scott Veach is a moderator on Gem Panda's Discord. I don't know who M. Scott Veach is. Sorry. Jay Savoy writes, there's a document out there about an interview with Pat Stay. I know there is. In that document, in that report, Stay says, I was raped and I will stand by that. Except that Stay didn't stand by that. Do you want to see? I'll show you. It's funny, really. Hey. All right, give me a second. Right. Here we are. Okay, so pay attention. Take a screen grab and have a look at this. Present to everyone. Now, over on the left, we have an argument being put forward by Stephen Chess on behalf of Pat Stay. At the top, it says 1. Stephen Chess reveals that Pat Stay is telling others Antonio physically, violently raped Pat. 2. Stephen is telling others that Antonio violently, physically raped Pat. Over here, Dan W. asked, hi, Patricia, has Stephen Chess lost his marbles? Patricia, remember, Patricia, who's really a Patrick, who said, I was raped and I would stand by that. It's like, no, if you were raped, you don't stand by a statement that you were raped. If you were raped, you go to the police and you press charges, okay? You don't instead say this, no, on being asked about Stephen Chess. No, he hasn't lost his marbles, Dan. Stephen Chess lives in California and in some states and some countries promising to marry someone but lying and having sex under false pretenses is considered rape. I asked him. I didn't see anything about violent rape. I didn't see Stay standing by it saying, yes, Antonio violently raped me. Because my penis didn't actually fit inside. It wasn't, you know, like sex, how you might think of sex. It didn't fit. Okay, so 3. Pat claims Stephen is not wrong to say Antonio raped Pat because in California, where Stephen lives, promising to marry someone, the promising to marry someone wasn't really a promising to marry someone. It was a, oh, so you're destitute and you need to move and you want to come to Britain where you can stay and you need a green card. So it means we must get married. Okay, well, then we'll get married. It's not promising to marry someone, see? And having sex with him, while not actually intending to marry them, is considered rape under the law there. Pat is explaining to Dan that Antonio can be said in California to have raped Pat because according to Pat, Antonio promised marriage in order to get sex, with no intention of actually marrying Pat. There is no mention of forcible sex at all. Thank you. Okay. I will stand by that. I will stand by that. I was raped and I will stand by that. Now, it turns out in Britain, I can sue Stay for rape. Yeah. What? Arwin has a GoFundMe trying to get a P1000. Good luck to him. No, good luck to him. I just wish the guy would go away. I really do. I wish the guy would just leave all this world of social interaction through the internet and get well. That's what I wish. Have you thought about hiring a private detective to investigate? No. Have you, Angus Evans? It shouldn't be too hard to find someone who knew her before. There is if the her didn't exist before. Angus Evans. You see, if the her didn't exist because it was a he, then it's a dead end on an investigation. Now, if the her had existed and, say, had worked on radio, then there would be archived radio shows of her speaking on the radio, where she spoke on the radio according to her backstory forwarded by Mark Sargent. See? Because all radio shows in the US are archived, just like in Britain. They're all archived. There would also be promotional bump from the radio stations with photographs of the staff, including photographs of Stay, but there are none because Stay didn't exist, and that's a made-up backstory. And because it was exposed, Stay left. It just couldn't take it anymore. Rock Lover writes, Pat never went to the police because she couldn't drive a stick shift. Wealthy woman couldn't call a taxi. And then later on in that thing, it says that it would get up and I would go to sleep. I would be sleeping through the day. Like, absolutely. I did not want to sleep while I did not want to be. I didn't want to spend any time with that psychopath. You know, and one way to do that is to, well, not be awake. That's right. Anyway, so Pat, whilst I was asleep, could have called David Wise. David, please record this as a testimony. I was raped. But didn't. Didn't call the police. Didn't, being in Britain, go, what's the number to call the police? I've never watched any British TV shows, and I don't know if it's 999, or I don't know what the number might be. Check Google. Oh, that's the number to call. I think I'll go and call. No, none of that. Anyway, there you go. Oh, yeah, dude, I won't donate to him. Don't you worry. You're humming again. My IQ must have gone back up. I don't know. I don't think it ever will. Is it a woman or man, this Pat? It's a man. You know how transgender men pretend to be women? They have operations to appear like women, and they think that this will trick them into thinking that they really are a woman now and trick the rest of the world. That's Stay. It's a man pretending to be a woman, having had operations. And being Laurie Gale, awfully weird. No one from her past came forward. No female friends at all. Very interesting. Only one friend outside of Flat Earth that turned out to be a gay guy who turned out to tell me, yeah, dude, come and tell everything about Stay being transgender on my hangout. Come over. That's right. And he freaking knew, the little dirt twat. He could have told me. Anyway, where was I going? I was going somewhere. No, look, I don't want to get into too many things, but if somebody is raped, the best thing to do for the whole world is to report it to the police, no matter what the outcome might be, whether there's evidence or there isn't. It doesn't matter. You report it to the police so that all reports to the police of rape are taken seriously. If half the people who are raped don't report it to the police, and half the people who report rapes to the police are making them up, then the police are going to take all of them like a could be, couldn't. No, I don't know. Let's see. Let's have a look. What happened in this situation? Person lived with person. Person left person. Person A moved to be with person B. Person B asked person A to leave. Person A left. Person B exposed person A as being a covert narcissist. Person A covertly told people it had been raped. Person B exposed this. Person A said, oh no, that's not what I meant. And then as other people exposed person A's background selling transgender clothes, person A decided to just drop out because person B, after being accused of being a rapist, exposed that person A, apart from being a covert narcissist, was a transgender. So person A left. It looks like this rape claim from person A might be fabricated. That's what I would do if I was a policeman. But if anybody's actually being raped, of course, best thing, in fact, rather than tell the police, and this is my sincere opinion, tell people that you know will deal with the situation, because the police might not always deal with the situation. So tell people who you know will deal with the situation. That's what you do. Anyway. Keep pumping the truth, Antonio. Pardon the pun. Sexual lies surely are from the one lying about their sexuality. Totally. I mean, look, if somebody can't face the fact that they were born a gender and that's their gender, they've got a serious problem. And right now, society is saying, oh, you have to pretend like they don't have a problem. You have to pretend like what they're telling you is true. Like, well, no, this is, I've called this your power. You have the power to say, in that case, no, you can tell me that, but no, I don't agree, and I'm not going to. There you go. And then you can do all kinds of stuff. You could go right up to transgenders and go in, freak, if you want, but you might then be kind of slapped about by the powerful, because you're causing that person undue stress and fear. Stuart Lundy. Yes, it is. It is level. No. Greg T. Is the real name Patricia Steer? No. Yes, sure shot. Not in Canada. Jail. That's right. Unless you do it cleverly. Oh, unless you go, do you know what? Sod this. I'll spend a couple of months in jail. I've seen what jail is like. I've watched Trailer Park Boys. I've seen what jail's like in Canada. Go to jail. Get stoned. Because I tell you what, I would wager you that the jails in Canada are plush. Yes, they're not going to be savage like the jails in Thailand and Abu Dhabi. No, the jails in Canada will be plush. So if you say, I don't believe you're transgender, I think you're crazy and there's something really wrong with you and you shouldn't have started this conversation because you obviously weren't expecting the response, but just bugger off because I'm not interested. Oh, person offended me. You get arrested, you go to jail. Then come out of prison, and then transgender comes over loading it. Oh, what you going to do now? You're going to call me miss? You go, no, dude, fuck off. Jail again. And eventually the law gets changed. Anyway. The whole FE thing is just plain douchey. A lot of it really is, yes. Real Cyprus. Yes, a lot of it really is. Do you see, the reason that a lot of it is douchey is it's been made douchey on purpose so that the more serious aspects of it can be dismissed. If you watched early on this, I explained some of the serious aspects. They're very simple aspects. In fact, I'm going to do it again. Right, so let me see. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share. Very simple. Okay, 500,000 miles an hour is the speed of the solar system through space. You can see the calculator. 500,000 miles per hour. Solar system traveling north through space. That's the Earth traveling north through space too. Let's divide that by 60 to find out how many miles, that's miles, per minute. Sorry. That's how many miles per minute. Let's divide that by 60 to find out how many miles per, oh, sorry, I've been saying meters. It's not meters at all. 138.8 meters is two. I wrote it down yesterday. My apologies for that. I've been minimizing it. 222,000. Well, I'll go to a calculator. Just give me a second. What's in this one? Right. Oh, yeah, that's the email. 138 miles a second. Not meters. Now we're going to look at meters. God, I can't believe I did that. Oh, right. Miles to meters. Apologies for that, people. And there was somebody in the chat correcting me. Let's have a look. Miles to meters conversion. Okay. Miles. Whenever you're ready. 138.8. 223,376.9 meters per second. 223,000 meters per second. That's 223 kilometers per second. Remember that? 9.8 meters per second squared of gravity, or of the Flat Earth Society's Earth rising inexplicably through space. Well, your globe travels at 223,376.9 meters per second. Did you see that, Globelings? So in order for that kind of information to just be buried, you have all the crap, all the Christian hallelujah nonsense, all the messing with people by going and turning out to being transgenders, all of that kind of stuff. It's to dilute all of that. If it was just nuts and bolts, serious stuff, like the majority of Eric Dubay stuff, then that would be it. There wouldn't be much debate. Notice, by the way, how Eric Dubay doesn't get offered to go on debates. He doesn't, does he? Oh, okay. So Bob question writes 670,000 miles per hour. I put it down as 500,000 miles per hour because it changes. The last few times I looked, it was 500,000 miles an hour. Oh, okay. It's not traveling at any speed. They could triple that speed. They could quadruple that speed. They could then quintuple the result of those quadrupled and tripled speeds. They could make it infinitely fast, and it would have the same results. How many people know that Caster Semenya, the 800-meter women's Olympic winner, is a she-he? I don't know. She-he has no female organs. In fact, the top three finishers were she-he's. It's not a she-he, it's a he. Or, if anything, a he-she. He-she. But make the original gender the main one. So, a transgender male not a transgender female. It's a male that's transgender. Yeah, let's make that distinction, because when you switch it over the other way around, you're kind of giving validity to the adopted gender. And no, it's a transgender male. Stay. So Johnny, somebody reminded me of this ages ago. It was there was a huge high in the flat earth. There really was. At the beginning, it was it was just an open field of possibilities, very interesting situations. And then it turns out, oh, wait a minute, some of that high was being fed by thoroughly corrupt individuals who were doing the feeding on purpose, love bombing, and then pulling people over to the side so that they wouldn't continue with the investigations they were doing individually. Yeah. Uppercut. We have no idea. Now, this is the thing. We don't know. Unless you actually know, it's just conjecture. So are the are the Williams sisters transgender? Could be not. Don't know. If you're convinced that they are, then, you know, it might shock you if it turns out that they're not. But if you found out one day you're drunk in London, you go to London and you're drunk, and Serena Williams, and she takes a hold of you, and you find out it's a real woman, all your brain would go is go, oh, it's a real woman, and it would delete all the ideas that you had before about having believed it was a male. That's all that would happen. Yeah. Rock Lover writes, in the WordPress interview, Pat still remains she hasn't had surgery. It's the coconut oil. Like, really? Is that why all those fine lines, crescent shapes behind the ear? Yeah, uppercut, Fatima Whitbread, real woman. Yeah. Celine Dion is a man. Okay. Really? How do you know? There you go. If anybody who says that somebody who's considered to be female is male, just ask them, how do they know? If they tell you hand ratio, no. If they tell you, I've seen the inside of the vagina and it's the same color as the outside, then yeah. As simple as that. So unless you've seen the inside of these people's vaginas, fabricated, ramshackle, inverted penis vaginas, you don't know. Yeah, so Johnny, thanks for bringing joy and introducing people to each other back in 2017 while measuring sun trails. I'm going to do another one this summer. Wait, when? Yeah, I don't know when. In fact, I might just look at the weather and see what's most likely to have clear skies over Europe and over the US, because that's where the majority of the readings came from, and just do it with short notice, because we're not really going to be so interested in the time and day and the angle of the sun or the no. We're just going to be interested in people that have the capability of filming time lapse and filming on a 24-hour period the sun, just a shadow of the sun, so that we can see, and only people with crystal clear skies, so that we can see the shadow and how it warps as it's making its way across, which it shouldn't do. So you can say, oh, temperature inversions in the atmosphere. It's like, well, you're assuming temperature inversions, like unless you have actual data of temperature inversions. But when you see the shadow go longer after it's gone shorter and then longer again several times, like happened with Rob Dizzle over in the US, like happened with several other people when we did the sun tracking, when they said the time is this and it's reached the shortest point. Oh wait, yes, it started going longer, and then wait, it's gone shorter again. That because the globe can't deal with that. Pitch Eratosthenes is trying to figure out the angles with that going on. Have you talked to Santos lately? I have not talked to Santos for a long time. The poor guy fell in love and everything went wrong for him. Love Wisdom Harmony writes, yes, Antonio, it's not enough. I know enough people to know variation and hormone imbalance during youth can cause very masculine builds in females, or taking steroids before they finish growing. Yes, and taking steroids doesn't mean like you take steroids to be like, you know, a steroid head. It can be as simple as having steroids given to you by doctors because of inflammation or various different conditions. Yeah, you can't hand ratio, finger ratio, all of those things. You can't work any of it out. You can't arrive at a conclusion from the hand. You can't arrive at the conclusion from the hips. You can't arrive at the conclusion from the hip, waist. You can't arrive at a conclusion from the length ratio of legs to torso. There's nothing that will absolutely guarantee the person you're looking at is a specific gender. Nothing. Unless you're looking at extreme bodybuilders, then you can. Because extreme bodybuilders, the men can create a heck of a lot more bulk of the shoulders that women simply cannot. And women can create a heck of a lot more bulk to the backside that men cannot. So other than that, nope. Skeleton, skull and skeleton, nope, doesn't work. Think of this, Risky Poodles. The skull, I have quite a prominent brow, okay? Transgenders with prominent brows can have them tapered down. They have them filed down. Stay has a very filed down brow. Stay is horrendous to look at up close, by the way, guys. I don't know if any of you have had the misfortune to look at up close. Stay looks like a monster. The eyes are very small, very sunken, and there's no spirit behind them. It's freaky as hell. Oh, what? Daniel Smith. My daughter was on hormone suppressants because she started puberty early. What? She's now 20 and identifies as a man? Oh, you're joking. Sue the doctors. Sue the doctors. Sue them. Jeez. John Ciority, that's a family man, fell out with this man here too, but all good again if you watch Del's last PMAS. Yeah, PMAS jumped in a couple of times, John Ciority. Yeah, I've had fallings out with Del. It wouldn't surprise me if I had fallings out with him again. It doesn't mean that I think the guy deserves... If people can't have fallings out without the world coming to ruin, then it's a shit, snowflakey world. Anyway, I am glad that he declined my offer to fisticuffs. Yep. When I heard Russian vids saying that he would like beat the shit out of him, I was thinking, I don't think he would. I mean, that's very loud talk. I mean, at least my talk wasn't loud. I just said that I would win, you know. But I would win because I would grease myself up and make sure he couldn't really catch me. And I am fast. I'm pretty agile. And I thought, what's his name? Russian Vid said, yeah, you look a bit heavy. You look like you might like exhaust yourself. I thought, I think Russian Vids is having a cartoon moment in his brain where he's remembering the life of Brian, you know, and the guy being thrown into the arena and not wanting to be there because he's dangerous, and then being made to fight the gladiator, but instead running off, and the gladiator chasing it until it dies of a cardiac arrest. I think Russian Vids was thinking that about Del, like Del would just run around after him and gas himself out. I now think what would be more likely to happen would be Del chuckling, moving kind of slowly with his arms out, slowly, until he could get a hold of him. That's what I think. Anyway, that's what I was strategizing for, in case he did that. But yeah, anyway, this is all fun. Stan Smith, dude, that's really surprised me. That's really surprised me. So love, wisdom, harmony. Without finding the scars from the surgery or the telltale lack of mucus tissue on the inside of the vag. So yes, scars from surgery, seen. Lack of lubrication of the vagina, yes. The pigmentation of the vagina, this is the important thing. You see, black transgenders have a black vagina, but black women don't have a black vagina. Black women have a pink vagina. That's right. Now, white women, and one of the reasons I did not want to go into this detail is that I thought, oh, so I'll tell you what Steer will do. When Steer hears, and Steer will be listening to this right now, when Steer hears that I'm saying that the vagina is white, porcelain white inside, just like the outside, just like its penis used to be before it was inverted, then what it can do is it can go and have it tattooed pink. But black transgenders can't have it tattooed pink. That's it. That's the one thing that will guarantee the color of the vagina. And even if they have it tattooed pink, it won't be pink all the way in. And in the real world, the farther in you go, the darker the pink becomes to the color. Do you know? So it's going to get to a point where it's going to be a torch and a speculum. But hey, I didn't have to. I just. This is supposed to be about power, okay? And actually, there is power in truth, and what I'm telling is truth. So yeah, sorry, I'm going to carry on. People don't like it, tough titty for them. If they get offended, tough titty for them. Shane Walter, when they look like a man and support the transgender agenda, you're one in my book. That doesn't make somebody a transgender. That just means they look like a man and they support the transgender agenda. If they support the transgender agenda, they're crazy in the head, just like the transgenders are, unfortunately. Doesn't mean that they are transgender. Yeah, but there you go. Yes, D Marble. D Marble's another clown shoe. Complete clown shoe. Look, any of the people who are speaking at the conferences, every single one of them is a clown shoe. Every single one. If they were not a clown shoe, they would not be participating in something that's abusing vulnerable flat earthers. And that's what those shows are doing. They're abusing vulnerable flat earthers. Non-vulnerable flat earthers don't go to them. They don't need to. They're not vulnerable. They don't feel lost. And people will trick themselves into going there just to check and it's not no, you're going there because you feel a bit lost. Any comments on Nathan Oakley? I've said many comments on Nathan Cockley. That guy is an agent for the British equivalent of the American agency. And yeah, that's what that guy is. He's that guy is a very broken individual. Mentally, that guy is very broken. Same as Steer, just very broken guy. So, and if you don't know about how broken Nathan Oakley is, I'll tell you. Some time ago, somebody critiqued him monetizing his channel. And his response was to tell the person who critiqued this, to tell that person to go and fuck his prosthetic leg. That's right. Now, if you're a real flat earther, then you understand that there's like a supreme consciousness that some people might call God. And there's certain things that are just not right for you to do. Like, for instance, somebody says something that really offends you, you know, like a snowflake, oh, I'm going to melt. If somebody says something that really offends you, what you can do is go, all right. If it's a comment, you could go, that offends me and I'm going to delete it. Or you could just go, delete, without much thought. But to say, go and fuck your prosthetic leg, or go and fuck your leg, that's wrong. But the same individual that he told to go and fuck his leg, now obviously this is not going to be monetized, that individual, he'd gone to months earlier, in Oxford. I was there. I saw this individual. I saw the immediate aftermath, but I didn't know what had happened. So I meet Rory McFiss. Love that, just good vibe guy. Good, solid hug. It reminded me of my Spanish uncle. It's just like, I forgot. I didn't know this is the guy with a prosthetic leg, because I'd heard that one of the flat earthers was a guy who'd been involved or engaged or associated with the crisis actors. And he had a story about being a crisis actor because he had a prosthetic leg, about being approached to be a crisis actor, something like that. Anyway, so I meet Rory, brilliant. And later, somebody says, why don't you do a fake thing, you know, throw your leg off and then pretend that you've had it blown off. And okay. And he did. And later, actually, I don't remember if this was then or a bit after, or I forget the sequencing. But I've met him. It's like really good vibe. We're walking to a place to hang out by the river, and at some point I'm walking. There's a bit of walking around. I'm just walking around. Stay is being a freak, dressed like a 1920s woman, and just standing around, going, "Hello, I'm here," and nobody giving a shit, like really, and I see Oakley walking away, but I've just looked and see Oakley, and at the time I was doing hangouts with Oakley, a lot of hangouts. Go on his channel and look for Mechanics of the Fourth Wall, you'll see. So I see Oakley, oh, there's Oakley, who's walking this way. Martin Litka was there as well. I got a really good vibe from him too. Walking, and Rory's standing there, but I noticed that Rory's looking unwell. Now, by now, I know that he's the one with a prosthetic leg. So I go over to see if he's okay, because he's looking unwell. So I go over and say, "You okay?" He's like, yeah, I'm fine. What had actually caused him to change? So he looks like my uncle. He has features that are very similar to my uncle's, similar height. My uncle had was dark hair, dark skin. This is Rory. Suddenly he's looking like nauseated, like he's nauseous. And so I've gone over to see what it is. And what it was this. Nathan Oakley's wife was pregnant at the time. And Rory had said to Nathan, you know, Nathan is there, and it's like, so you're looking forward to, you know, having a little baby? And Oakley said, yes, I'm paraphrasing, by the way. Yes, it's going to be a girl, is it? Yeah. Oh, you must be looking forward to that. Oakley says, don't know, you have a teenage girl, don't you? And Rory says, yes. Goes, must be weird thinking about all those mucky boys sticking their fingers up her. And then walked off. So, in Oakley's brain, his baby girl will be a teenager and mucky boys will stick their fingers up the baby girl when it's grown up. Doomweaver! Dude, how is your head? If you'd like to join, send me a message on Skype. I'm on. I've got Skype open. I want to know how you're doing, man. I hope you're doing better. Doomweaver was there, by the way, in this place that I just described in Oxford. That's Robert Shortman. Yes, Rory is a good guy. Rory is one of the guys, along with you, who came out to support me when all of that crap was going on. Very few people did, but yeah, I remember. Nathan Oakley hits little girls. Yes, he does. But just that's just... I'm glad that he didn't tell me at the time, because I might have been incapacitated. I think either a moth or a butterfly. It must be, I don't know. If he told me that that had just happened, I think I would have acted and said to Oakley, hey, what did you just say to him? And then the situation would have happened. But I fear that he would have told me and I would have gone, what the heck, and not acted. In which case that, you know, it would be eating me up inside. That's Nathan Oakley for you. Colin Turner, $5 super chat. Please don't make super chat donations. I opened the super chat when I was using a strategy to keep propagandists out, and it has really worked, because now I have lots of Globelings with wrenches who are not propagandizing. And what it was if a Globeling came in and was propagandizing, I would say, instead of allowing you to propagandize, I'm going to ask you to write your propaganda through a comment with a donation. So that's why that's there. So please, I really appreciate it, Colin Turner, but please don't. Anybody else, please don't. That's not why it's there. Broken hands. Oh. Okay, I'm going to tell people. I don't think you'll mind, okay? But I'm going to tell people. So Doomweaver, actually, let me, yeah, no. Doomweaver was in a mountain biking accident recently and really hurt himself, like broke parts of himself. That's why I was so happy to see him. And he just said that he's doing much better, but he still has broken hands. MB, Antonio's got ice cold MMA trained, skilled, beware transreal Totten. Okay. My training wasn't, well, yeah, you could call it MMA, but it wasn't. My training was Muay Thai. And yes, I've done some jiu-jitsu and judo, and kung fu, various different things. Yeah, but Muay Thai. Shane Walter, no, by your standards, you was not there, so you cannot say for certain his child did sound that way, though. That's right. Can't say for certain what we were not there. But if you hear and then a pause and then a scream of pain from a baby, that's because a baby's just been hit. It's not that the baby has been shocked. It's a different cry. The pause, scream, that's shock, and then the baby responding. So the silence is the shock. Doomweaver, cast comes off next week, ready for rehabilitation of my arms and hands. Oh, dude, I think you'll be all right. You know, you've trained yourself. You're going to be fine. I tell you what would be good, though. I don't know whether you might want to do this. If you were to manage to record to show the difference and the improvement, because you could upload that could be shared amongst people to show how rehabilitation can recover and regain. You could show everything. It would be big for people who don't have Qigong, who don't know that world. It would be good for them to see, to actually see. Love, Wisdom, Harmony. It was the child dropping a book. No, it wasn't. If the child had dropped the book, there wouldn't have been a silent pause and then a burst of scream. No, it wasn't. At first, I thought it was Oakley slapping down his clipboard and then the child screaming. But then I listened again and thought, no, that's not what it is. Now, I don't think that he smacked the child across the face. I think he smacked the child across the thigh. That's what I think happened. But I don't know. But he struck the child. Greg T, Bitcoin is low. Good time to buy. I'm thinking. I know somebody who's doing pretty well with Bitcoin and other things, which I was very skeptical about, by the way. I was very skeptical. I still am. I'm still not going to mess with Bitcoin. So, well, anything for which you need electricity, I'm not interested. I feel the same way about electrical art. You know, oh, let's do this on the computer. No, that's not art. It's reliant on electricity. Johan, Bitcoin is just one of the steps before the beast system. We live inside the beast system now, if you believe in the beast. There is no beast. The whole system, the whole 666, all of those things are post hoc because of what was written in the Bible. They're done on purpose by people who like gaslighting society. They're the kind of people that put laws into place that protect pedophiles. There are people who like gaslighting society. There are covert narcissists who are not just inconsequential, nothing stays. There are covert narcissists who are in position of power. No, I don't, MB. Antonio, you have various different styles of martial arts is MMA. I know. But I'm just saying I didn't train in the octagon with, no. But yes, I get it. I love it. I still enjoy it. Anyway, fiat money is better. Bitcoin is fiat money. Greg T. So where you say fiat money is better, laugh out loud. Like Bitcoin is fiat money. It is. It's a different form of fiat money, but it is still fiat money. You can see, because if there are rumors about a coin crashing, the coin crashes because the faith, the fiat, is lost. And the same happens with what we call fiat money. If there's rumors of a coin crashing, it crashes. Like in Mugabe land. Yeah. John C. Oddity, never slapped any on my 3. Think about having an argument with someone while holding a crying child. Who does that? Oakley held his crying child whilst being accused of dirty tricks by Poncho Pete, where what Poncho Pete was saying was true, and Oakley at the last minute when he was completely losing it, he's like, pass me the baby. That's right, with his retard wife. I met her. There's a dim one. Jeez, talk about no spark in the eyes. Very, very dim. Sandy, Antonio, remember your daughter's response? My daughter's response to what? Sandy 123, please remind me. Rock Lover, he'll be doing lots of different. Rock Lover's telling Doomweaver to get a sponge rubber ball and squeeze it to rehabilitate his hand, and yeah, he will. It wouldn't surprise me at all if his recovery was so fast that people didn't believe that 3 months earlier he was in casts, that 2 months earlier he was in casts. OGM number 6. Yes, really. I've met it. I've met Ugly's wife. Jeez Louise. If that's not an argument for MGTOW, I don't know what is. No spark is his perfect match. Yes. Now, here's somebody who people say is a transgender that isn't. Cammy Nodell. Cammy Nodell is a woman. Authentic, genuine, always has been. Yep. But people still say, oh, no, it's a man. No, it isn't. Although I haven't seen. No, it's a woman. Love, Wisdom, Harmony. Called them Hot Night Angel. The doctors told my dad he should have a peg leg after a motorcycle accident. They wanted to remove it. He healed it himself using hot and cold treatments and moving. Ooh. Love, Wisdom, Harmony. I really would like you to cut that comment and paste it to Fight the Flat Earth. Fight the Flat Earth. Just let him know that. Because that guy, ugh. Roy Christopher, tonight, Bloody TV presenting moon missions like they were real. Sickening. Sadly. Oh, let's have a look at the One More Orbit thing. That was a funny thing. Oh, yeah. Tell you what. It's this guy who's been trying to get my attention, like really desperately trying to get my attention, calling his videos, you know, titling my name for his videos. One More Orbit. Yeah, no, nothing special. I'm looking, by the way. No, the long streams aren't there. They've not returned. Curious. There's a guy called Where's Wally? Where's Wally? Just give me a second. There he is. He's such a dim. And what he does is he makes very short videos, you know, for the attention span of his very limited intellectual following. Makes videos and just addresses half the points or a bit of a point and doesn't actually address the whole thing. So I made a video recently. I'm going to play it now. Okay, I'm going to screen share. Give me a second. I'm going to play his video about my video. So give me a second. Where's Wally? I know you watch this, don't you, Wally? Hey, okay, so here you are. And I know he watches this because the video he's talking about was from my Hangout. Right, so Antonio's Continental sized stuff up doing One More Orbit takedown. Okay. Antonio's Continental sized stuff up. Would that continent be the missing Antarctica? So let's listen.
Today, Antonio has done it again. So he made the statement that there was no video footage of Antarctica and it was a missed opportunity.
No, I didn't. I said in this video there was no Antarctica. There's lots of video of Antarctica. But let's carry on.
Really? You do realise that Antarctica has been in total darkness for quite a few weeks now, don't you?
Notice how he won't address the fact that it's missing from this sphere Earth. Notice.
Antonio. Oh, no, sorry, you didn't. Oh, and did you check the weather? Yeah, it was a bit overcast, which is highly unfortunate. It would have been nice for the guys on the ground to be able to video the plane as it went over, but they couldn't even see the moon, so...
Oh, that's a bad one for you, because it turns out that somebody did film it from the ground. And it must have been a different location.
But they did manage to have a bit of a chat on the radio as they went over, but we'll wait for that in another video.
hey, we had a chat on the radio from the people going to the moon. In fact, Nixon had a chat on the telephone from people on the moon.
So Antonio, being Antonio, he does what he usually did, and he picks a very weak piece of information with data, and he shows us the onboard screen on the plane that shows us the current position. Now, what he failed to recognise, that map just simply didn't render Antarctica. But anyway, this is...
He says that I failed to notice that it didn't render Antarctica. The whole video was about the fact that it didn't render Antarctica. How can somebody make a video about a sphere Earth with no Antarctica and somebody else say, didn't even notice that it didn't render Antarctica? Didn't render Antarctica.
Antonio does. He finds the dodgiest piece of data he can, and then he conflates it into a straw man argument. Notice how here they have Antarctica over there. Look at where Antarctica is on Google Earth. I'm sorry. Did you see that?
So in this video, I'm saying, see, here, Antarctica, very far away. And he's like, that's not Antarctica, it's Australia. But wait a second. It's okay.
Do you see that? Look at how on this, Antarctica is down here. Okay? Are you seeing? Look, here is Antarctica. Can you see?
Antarctica is just missing, eh? Did you get the full chest-pumping irony there, folks? Anyway, why would Antarctica be missing? Well, I guess it's easy. The software just didn't render it. Someone decided we didn't need to install that part of the software into this. No corporate jet's going to be flying down to Antarctica, is it?
So the plane is flying to Antarctica, and they thought, yeah, let's not put Antarctica in the program, because that's how he thinks it works. Like, the program only renders like areas that you go into, I suppose.
It's just kind of wrong in lots of different ways. But Antarctica's just missing in their graphic on a flight that is specifically to fly over the poles. Why would you have the poles missing from a graphic of a flight over the poles?
So what he fails to grasp here is that on the far right is the southwest tip of Australia, you know, down there.
I was just saying, how is the pole not there? He said, well, he fails to grasp is that that's Australia. Unfortunately for him, I did say that in the video.
Earth. You can even see that the coloration isn't white. It's like a red hot planet, a dry, dusty countryside, Australia. So the plane came down south and it turned over a point which is pretty much exactly equal distance between Australia, South Africa, and South America. What would that be?
This distance is not quite the same as that distance, and it's definitely not the same as this distance. So that would mean your equidistance is not actually equidistant.
Anyway, Antonio, you would call a person that can't recognise that simple fact as a bit of a
Dim-dim?
Okay, well, this is the map that the OMO...
Oh, this was the video. Can you see this? Look at the flight here. You know how on their map, the flight goes across here and misses this horn here? Their flight went like this, according to their maps. But according to this, it went like this.
Site showed as the actual third leg, and it's brilliant. It just shows what we'd expect to see. The plane flies due south to get to the pole, and then because it's a ball, you're straight away flying due north again. So good, so cool. And finally, just one little adjustment to our...
Okay, that's just silliness now. I point out to him in the chat, I never said there was no video footage of Antarctica. Why would you lie? Oh yeah, because you have a problem with reality. Later, I said, hey, isn't the Milky Way there? Isn't that the Milky Way there in the background? Interesting. I thought the only rendered places they flew to, over, or near. And because they do not fly to, over, or near Antarctica, they didn't bother rendering it. But they rendered the Milky Way. It's almost like the sole purpose of the graphic is to give the impression that the journey takes place over a spherical Earth. And in the video that he was critiquing, I did say, now people can say that this is Australia. That's okay. That's okay. You can say that. But you still can't explain why Antarctica's totally missing. So that was one video. I wanted to address this guy because It's kind of fun. Let's see. I think this is probably another big fail for Antonio.
G'day everybody, where's Wally here?
Oh no. Oh yeah. So, oh gosh, it's in his own video. He said it was very overcast and that's why nobody got any footage of it. He must have forgotten because he's then uploaded this one of footage of it from Antarctica. Because there you go. Ah, yeah, this one I wanted to address.
On a Soyuz, so he would be a fun guy to be sitting stuck on a plane for 2 days.
Right.
Where's Wally here?
So here's where's Wally again. Antonio and the thought leaders of Flatardia have a big problem here. I don't think so. By the way, if you're going to use inverted commas, please, I mean, and it is just a typo. Yeah, it's okay. Inverted commas here for thought leaders. Where's the inverted comma that goes with this one? Anyway, so you just saw the route that he showed in this previous video of the plane flying this way. And here's the route of the guy saying that they flew this way. Oh, it's interesting. But let's listen to this video.
This is going to be a fun one today. And it's really a big problem for Antonio and all those other flat earth so-called.
Not really, because on my map, it's about 46,000 miles. They did it in just over 46 hours. That would be about 1,000 miles an hour. Perfectly doable.
Thought leaders. Well, we're just looking at the one more orbit is what they're calling it. And there's a couple of guys. One of them's an astronaut. He is, where's his name here? Eternal Kerry Wirtz, and he is one of the rare guys who's been both on the space shuttle and on a Soyuz. So he would be a fun guy to be sitting stuck on a plane.
Is that the Soyuz that people were sitting in with an open notebook on their thigh, you know, holding the thumbs up and everything whilst it's actually taking off? Good. Hey, this is fun. Just, you know, like there's no G's. Nah.
3 days with. And then there's the Russian guy, Colonel Gennady Palakla. How do you say that? 879 days in space. He's the record holder. So that would be another great guy to be sitting beside for 48 hours. So anyway, we saw Antonio in the live stream chat on the OMO website the other day, and yes, he was having great fun backpedaling.
I was.
It's like a duck on water.
No, not back. Wait. He said I was having great fun backpedaling. No, I was having great fun laughing at it.
But yes, so Antonio, he's really the only flatty who's still game enough to, or perhaps silly enough to try and make a flat Earth map. So let's just pull up his flat map and.
Where's Wally? It might help you if you pulled up my map and not Buckminster Fuller's map. This is not my map. This is Buckminster Fuller's map.
The flight path of that on this map and just see where it goes. So it starts off in Florida at the Kennedy Space Center. First leg is up north over the North Pole and then down into Kazakhstan in Central Europe. The second leg, they fly down, well,
this is wrong. Look, here, there's a little cleft, okay? The plane flies through this cleft. It misses Saudi Arabia, it misses Somalia all together, okay? I'll show you in your own map. Look, here. Can you see how it misses the Arab Peninsula and Somalia? This. See how it misses all together? Let's carry on at your great mapping. Oh, look.
On this map.
No, you got it wrong there.
To see where it goes. So it starts off in Florida at the Kennedy Space Center. First leg is up north over the North Pole and then down into Atlantic.
Oh, actually, you got it wrong here too. It went up like this, across here, then across Greenland. See, you got it all kinds of wrong.
Kazakhstan in Central Europe. The second leg, they fly down, well, by down, I mean south to Mauritius. The third leg is down to the South Pole and then around, when they go to the South Pole, they're going to try and wave to some scientists. And by that, I mean they're going to give them a shout out on the radio. And then it's back around and up to Punta Arena in Chile for the end of the third leg. And then finally the last leg back up to Kennedy Space Center. But of course there is one big problem on this map. It just doesn't join up. So, okay, well maybe I used the wrong map. Let's try another AS map, will we? Let's follow it again. And
okay, much better.
We need some Pac-Man magic to get from that side over to this side.
You still got it wrong here, but let's carry on.
Okay, well, I'm not sure about this, Antonio. What do you guys think? Anyway, I think whoever made this map up is a little bit of a
dim-dim.
But as all my regular listeners know, I do have a better use for these maps.
So I'll use this map to show you. Okay, I was going to pull one up. And here you are. Just imagine for a second, right? That they fly from Florida across like this and reload in Astana or Nur, whatever they've chosen to rename it. Fly south, not over Saudi Arabia, not over the Arabian Peninsula. South and turn to land in Mauritius and carry on turning and land in Antarctica and refuel, but obviously don't tell you because they're hoodwinking you, and then take off and fly over through Punta Arenas and back to, well, Florida. That was easy. It was really easy. It was just a great big circle. What is it that they said that they did? A great big circle. It took them 46 hours. At the height that plane flies, it's going really slow for that height. Because, you see, you can't go both high and slow because there's a lot less density. Where's Wally? The plane can't possibly get the upward momentum from the aerofoil of the wing unless it's going faster to cause more wind to rush and cause that pressure differential to create the lift to make it go higher. I'm sorry you're so dim. Where's Wally? Anyway, let's see what the rest of it was. Oh yeah, silliness. Where he takes, because it's not infantile, he takes the Buckminster Fuller map and he burns it with a laser. Okay, that's great. Very interesting. Anyway, let me stop screen sharing. So that was that dim. Just complete. He can't figure out for the life of him, he can't figure out how they could have flown for that long and missed both poles, because I showed in my previous hangout, they didn't go over the North Pole and they didn't go over the South Pole. According to their own details, they missed both poles. Hey, perfectly doable. If planes fly faster than they say they do, which they do, then perfectly reasonable. Anyway, oh, sorry, I'm still screen sharing. Stop. Perfectly doable. All they have to do, unless they have a lot more mileage per refueling, is refueling Antarctica. If only there were refueling stations in Antarctica. Oh, there are. And we have somebody in the chat who could probably say, oh yeah, I know where they are. I went there. That's gotta be bad news for you. Where's Wally? Angus Evans, is he still asking stupid questions? Let's have a look. Let me see. Doomweaver, I really could have done with some Colloidal Silver. I should have made myself some. Because I had a brief stay in hospital a few days ago with a really bad throat infection. And yes, I do wish I'd had some Colloidal Silver. Who am I looking for? I'm looking for somebody who's asking stupid questions, apparently. I don't see. Anyway, Rob, when you're better, Doomweaver, when you're better, if you'd like to jump in, if you'd like to join me in a hangout, you don't have to, because I know that you know what that world is like. But yeah, if you ever fancy it to discuss anything you want to discuss, give me a shout and we'll do a hangout. Good night, Adrian Martin. Oh, unless you were saying good night to somebody else. Love, wisdom, harmony. Females with critically low iodine during pregnancy give birth to Grettin's low IQ weak person. That's interesting. They have BP service stations in Penguin Land. Bobman Bob. No, they don't. Don't be silly. They do have refueling stations, though. They do have stockpiles of fuel. Did you think that they didn't? They do. Angus Evans. Would pilots know if their planes are going faster than advertised? Are the pilots in on it? How would pilots know? Think about it. How would pilots know their speed? If you didn't have an odometer in your car, you wouldn't know your speed. And that's a car. How would pilots know their speed? John C. Oddity. Why does he keep the super chat on if he doesn't want people to use it? At Angus Evans. Oh, right, that was Angus Evans. Because sometimes Globalins come in here and they try to propagandize. So, to dissuade them, I say, hey, if you'd like to propagandize, do it through a donation. And lo and behold, they no longer want to propagandize. And I have Globalins in the chat with wrenches, and they don't propagandize. They're civil to each other and to other people, you know. That's it. You see that most of the people in the chat are not propagandizing. They're not even propagandizing flat Earth. They're just chatting with each other and passing messages and comments and advice and suggestions, you know. Wait, if you Google cretins, it will give you links to the iodine studies. Oh my God, if that's true, that is just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, if you want Grog propaganda, check out PMaster's channel. Grog lover, warm mead with a touch of cayenne pepper, great in winter. Warms up the internal body's core temperature. That's Anthony Hemp, Alchemy on a Flat Earth. So Angus Evans writes, would the engineers who build the engines know about the speed difference? How would they? How would they know the actual speed difference? Think about it, Angus. Think. So engineers build engines, they test them. They test them in huge hangars. And they check lots of different things. Okay, and those hangars tend to be, well, on the ground. And when they want to test for high elevation, they have two options. They put it on a plane and they send it up and they see what it does. Or they take it to a wind tunnel. But you can't have a wind tunnel with less pressure. So how would they know? Ouch. Uppercut. I had an endoscopy following a bout of gastroenteritis and losing a stone in weight in 3 days. Wow, that's a heck of a lot of weight. Not something I want to go through again. Felt like I was in a stuff video with a horse in a snuff. vid with a horse. If you don't know what a snuff vid is, I'm not going to tell you. Enjoy not knowing. Did the engineers know the engines don't use fuel at altitude? Laugh out loud. It's all, yeah. Fake face, no notification. It happens. YouTube has to try to do what they have to try to do, as illegitimate as it might be. Guys, I'm going to wrap up. I've been on for a little bit longer than I thought I was going to be. And I'm going to watch some TV. Not moon landing stuff. No, I'm going to watch Stranger Things. I will next week. Next week, maybe this week. Oh, I have a good day tomorrow. Have some visitors tomorrow. Later on in the week, I'll make a video about snowflakes and Game of Thrones. Angus Evans and Antonio Subirats. So, just to confirm, you believe thousands of jets have fake speeds and nobody knows about it? How about I correct that? Okay. So, Antonio, just to confirm, you understand the Earth is flat and lots of pilots don't know this? Yes. Adrian Martin, we talk about the speed manipulation overseas many times. There are many ways to manipulate what distances. Pilots couldn't know, passengers either. But, oh, I tell you what, before I go, this is for Angus Evans. You have to justify this. You're talking about airspeeds, which, if I was to ask you, how would you establish the actual speed? You'd be left with, well, I don't know. But you can check the speed of the ocean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up Google Earth and I'm going to plot a route that was done by the Catharsis 2. Just for you, Angus Evans. Okay? And then I'm going to ask you to explain the discrepancy. And if you don't explain the discrepancy, I will remove your wrench and ban you. Because I sense a little bit of propagandizing. Okay? Okay, so this is just for you. Let me open Google Earth. And you can take your time and look at the details. I'm not going to pull up all of the details. All I'm going to do is plot a route. 2 routes, in fact. But one is critical for you, for your globe belief. And the one that I'm going to plot, which is critical for your globe belief, is going to tell you there's something incredibly wrong with your globe. Okay? I've done it before with the Kutisag and the Alia Perusa of Fedor Kunyakov. Well, now I'm going to do it with a Kutisag and the Catharsis 2. See, Globelings have a problem with the Alia Perusa and Kunyakov because it was a solo sail. I said, oh, must have got a bit groggy, a little bit sleepy, probably traveled slow because he was sleepy. I don't know, something. Or maybe he didn't sleep at all. Maybe he was just sleeping all the way. Who knows? And they ignore reading his messages or his interviews. Not many of them, but he did give interviews. They just can't be bothered reading them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, give me a second, I'm going to screen share. Right, start screen share. Here we go. Okay, here is Google Earth. The Catharsis 2 left Cape Town, went south of the 60th parallel, all the way around Antarctica, and then all the way around to Hobart here. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to plot the round Antarctica part, because the round Antarctica part they did in 73 days, which just happens to be the same time that the Cutty Sark spent sailing from Sydney here, south of New Zealand, all the way round to London. 73 days. So we're going to compare which of those routes is longest. Okay, and I'm not even going to keep it anywhere really serious, meticulous. Right, so this is the 60th parallel. So let me grab the path tool. Okay, so 60th. I'm going to start here and I'm just going to go like this. Okay, all of it south of the 60th. And they did this in 72 days. Okay, and I'm going to keep it to miles. 11,000 miles. Okay, write that down, Angus Evans. 11,707 miles, give or take. Let's round it down to 11,500 miles. 73 days, 11,500 miles. Now, we will go from Sydney. So clear that. We're going from Sydney, south of New Zealand, into the roaring 40s. And the screaming 50s, round through the Falklands, and up the coast of South America, and across, all the way back to London. 15,500 miles. Angus Evans, 11,500 miles in 73 days versus 15,500 miles in 73 days. The ship that did 15,500 miles in 73 days was an 1800s sail-powered cargo ship, fully laden. The ship that on your globe did 11,500 miles around Antarctica was a modern racing yacht. A modern racing yacht. Now you might, like a dim-dim, say, well, probably icebergs or something, they had to slow down. It's like, yes. Here's the thing. If you want to handicap your race around Antarctica to make it appear more rational for them to do 11,000 miles, 11,500 miles, in the same speed that it took an 1800s cargo ship to do 15,500 miles on your globe, then you can handicap it by saying icebergs. You could even handicap it by saying they all had to wear blindfolds. Or you could be a bit more realist and say, they can't have had to stop very much for icebergs, you know, because of radar and sonar and other visibility hazard detecting equipment. So, no, icebergs don't quite cut it. Now, you might check the wind speeds in that region. You'll find that the wind speeds are pretty high, and they all go, well, pretty much to the east. And the sailing race was to the east in very high winds. So I will show you just how high those winds. Just give me a second. So, modern racing yacht, 11,500 miles, 73 days. 1800s cargo ship, the Cutty Sark, 15,500 miles, 73 days. Your logic says, well, the Cutty Sark must have been faster than the modern racing yacht. And your brain will say, well, the Cutty Sark must have been made for speed. It's like, yes. Do you think racing yachts are not made for speed? So I'm going to come here and go to surface. Okay. And where's the latitude? Okay. See here, it tells you the latitude. Okay, 57 south. So let's come down a little bit more. Okay, here's 60 south. Speed, let's go to miles. 21 miles an hour. Speed, 10 miles an hour. Oh, that's okay. Speed, 20 miles an hour. Oh, sorry, that's 75. That's too far south. Must go higher. 60. Wait, let me make it larger. Right, let's see. Okay, sorry. Okay, 8 miles an hour. Very lovely and slow. Oh, look here. This isn't warping because of the cropping, you know, of the oceans. No, it's correct. Okay, so let's look at the speeds. 36 miles an hour. 22. Oh, 14. Very slow. Let's look some. Oh, don't know why it did that. 31 miles an hour. 24 miles an hour. 22. 43. 20. 44 miles an hour. Let's see. So 44 miles an hour. 60 degrees south. 41 miles an hour. 39. 24. And now a bit farther south here. 26, 28. That's interesting because we're going to do the math now to see how fast they did those 11,500 miles. Okay, 40 miles an hour. Okay, very good. Let's close that. Let's pull up the calculator. Give me a second. So, 11,500 miles divided by 73 days. Not looking good. Now let's divide this per hour because it's a non-stop race. No weighing, no dropping anchor and stopping. Non-stop. Let's divide that by 24. Let's divide it by 24. Oh, 6.5 miles an hour. In those 40 mile an hour winds, they were traveling at 6 miles an hour. In those 10 mile an hour winds, they were traveling at 6 miles an hour. Now let's compare with the Cutty Sark. 15,500 divided by 73. Now divide by 24. Oh, 8.8 miles an hour. That's faster, isn't it? That's definitely faster. So now let me just go back. We're going back to Nullskull. Now we're going to look at the speeds on the journey for the Cutty Sark. Okay, okay, so Sydney. Go back to miles per hour. Right, 8 miles an hour, 17 miles an hour. Very good. 22 miles an hour, 24, 15. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong way. Must come down and go a bit against the wind, you know, like around Antarctica. So this here, 27. Very good. And then all the way around. 18, 11, 21, 39. Oh, that's very high wind in that hurricane region. And then round Cape Horn. Very good. And now against the wind for a while at against a 24 mile an hour wind. And then carry on. And then carry on. Very good. And then against the wind, against a 7 mile an hour wind. By the way, you can go against a higher wind faster than you can against a slower wind, in case you didn't know. Right. Oh, just kind of slow speeds, really. Now against the wind. Although, by the way, but when I'm saying against the wind, it's a little trick because it doesn't quite work how you might assume. Oh, so looks like for the Cutty Sark's journey, there were more opposing winds or non-favorable winds than for the race around Antarctica. And bear in mind that these are more recent details and the weather has changed. Okay. So, Angus Evans, can you explain why a modern racing yacht would travel at 6 miles an hour in regions with, well, 35 mile an hour winds and 40 mile an hour winds and 48 mile an hour winds? Can you explain how a racing yacht can travel in those winds at 6.5 miles an hour? And now we'll stop screen sharing. And I'm going back in the chat. I'm looking. Angus Evans, I'm looking. If you don't respond, then you pretend like you're not here, then I will just find you in the chat and ban you. Okay? So do reply. Angus Evans, Antonio, what's the source material for these speeds? That wasn't the question. The question was, can you explain how modern racing yachts can be slower than 1800s cargo ships? The question is, can you explain? A modern racing yacht versus an 1800s cargo ship. A modern racing yacht, Love Wisdom Harmony points out, which is very true, 6 miles an hour is around when a walk changes to a jog. In 40 mile an hour winds, 30 mile an hour winds, 20 mile an hour winds, 10 mile an hour winds. Angus Evans, can you explain how an 1800s cargo ship, fully loaded, could be faster than a modern racing yacht? First, we need the source material. I cannot go on your assertions. Can we trust record speeds from the 1800s? Well, thank you very much. Remove moderator. And hide user on this channel. Bye-bye, Angus Evans. You see, what you could do is you could look at the source material yourself. It's not going to help you. But if you'd like to say, oh no, what happened was this. In the 1800s, they just plain lied about how long they were traveling for. They just lied. So that it fits with your globe narrative. That modern racing yachts with all the equipment for detecting hazards at sea, like icebergs, modern racing yacht, slower than an 1800s cargo ship. Anyway, that's enough of that propagandist. I knew that was going to happen. Because obviously, he's not going to, the poor sap, he's not going to say, yeah, that doesn't make any sense, which is what he should do if he was an honest person. You go, that doesn't make any sense. I'll have to look into this further and look and go, my, didn't realize you could go up to 3 times faster than the wind, up to 3 times faster than the wind. Doesn't mean that you can all of the time. You can reach up to 3 times faster than the wind. You have to have a ship with a very long keel. Like we're talking sailing ships with a very long keel. Does the Catharsis 2 have a very long keel? Yeah, about 85 feet. Yeah, that's a long keel. A long hull, I mean, which means obviously a long keel. That's very interesting. This doesn't make any sense. Let's communicate with the Catharsis 2 captain, see what he says. So somebody communicates with him. Hey, that was very slow speed, wasn't it? He goes, yeah. That's interesting. Aren't the winds really high? Yeah. But you went really slow? Yeah. Oh. Anyway, there you go. There's one bone every minute with not enough iodine. Angus Evans. Uppercut. Yeah, but it would have been cruel. Right. Oh, you could have left him for us to kick him around a bit. Yeah. He used so many fallacies earlier trying to respond to you that I knew it would go this way. Oh, did he? I didn't see them because I was showing what I was showing. But yeah, that guy. Poor guy. Well, you can't believe the data. Oh, okay. You can't believe the data. Nope. Let's go back to the stuff you were saying about the data for the air speeds. Shall we do that now? Yeah, we can believe that data. Oh, where does that data come from? NASA. Oh, well, we can definitely believe it then. Where does the data come from for the Cutty Sark? Well, not NASA. It was the 1800s, not NASA. Okay, guys. I can't think of anything else to show you. Oh, right. Wait a second, because I've been hearing stuff about the moon. I've not seen it tonight. Mr. Two Cents. The moon rose at 119 degrees last night and set at 242. In 14 days, it will rise at 62 and set at 298. How does the globe explain this? Antonio Subirat. The globe explains it with the ecliptic. That's how it explains it. It's the ecliptic. So you see, the moon, it has an ecliptic, and it does this around, you know, so from tropic to tropic around the Earth, and sometimes a bit nearer and sometimes a bit farther, and that's how. It doesn't really. I mean, if it actually explained it properly, you'd see people modeling it physically, saying sun, moon, or whatever their phase, sun, Earth, moon at a distance, ecliptic, degrees, but they can't. So they don't. It only works in drawings, but when you try to translate drawings into the real world, you face the challenge of having to move to the 3D world. And spherical trigonometry is simply 2D trigonometry turned on its side. So you have 2D, and you take 2D and put it up. That's it. But that's not quite what the world is, and not quite how the world works. But yeah, interesting things with the moon. My 2 cents. Thanks for pointing that out. You can have a wrench. Oh, you already have one. OGM number 6. Please no donations. After 15 days, it reverses and goes back the other way again. Oh, Gary Waybenger. Hey. Okay. Yes. So it reverses. If you look at the model, so the globe model takes the observations and says, if we were on a globe, what would be happening? That's what it does. The observations are that the moon rises and lowers in the sky when it reaches its zenith, its highest point of any night, through any period that it arcs across our sky. It reaches a lowest period and a highest period. When it reaches its lowest period in the north, in the south, it's reaching its highest period. When it reaches the highest period in the north, in the south, it's reaching its lowest period. So I said, well, if it was a sphere, then this would be happening. That's basically it. The truth is, the moon does in a month what it takes a year for the sun to do. You have to read my comment. It's free from YouTube. But I don't know what your comment is, OGM06. I don't see your comment. All I'm seeing is a donation for $1. That's all I see. I don't see your comment. If you want me to address your comment, just write @Antonio and it will highlight my name. Aha, love, wisdom, harmony. Yeah, this is another thing that people just globally just shrug off. Johan, yes, Johan, that and the so-called reflection of spheres have a highlight, yep, which fades towards the edges. The moon does not exhibit spherical features when concerning light. That's right, it doesn't. But there's a comment. Emerald Rider, you're by far one of the best researchers in FE. My apologies for getting triggered on the Jesus Found Me vid. I did not watch it past the first part. Sometimes we can all be dim-dims. We certainly can, yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah. It's no problem, by the way. Please read Nathan Oakley is filth below Antonio's feet. Oh, is that what? Okay, so I've read it. Yes, Nathan Oakley is filth beneath my feet. Yes. He's not even filth. He's a broken dude. It's just he tried to become famous as a broadcaster on television, as a presenter on television, like in the real world. Went to drama school to be a TV personality like his uncle. His uncle works for the BBC, covering up for what's his name? Jimmy Savile. So Nathan Oakley thought, oh, I can work for TV too. So he went to drama and then he worked for TV, but because he's so uncharismatic and he's such an un-camera friendly face, it's like, not interested, dude. So they got rid of him, and that's what happened. Could the lunar eclipse happen when the moon is at its lowest level and the sun at its lowest level, and maybe perhaps some mountain range in between them? No. My 2 cents, mountain range between them. No. Okay, that's not what's happening with the eclipse. Have you seen the video of the science girl, the physics girl, I think she's called? She drags a plate through a swimming pool, and the vortices that are caused by the plate drop circular shadows on the bottom of the pool. That's transparent water interacting with the surface of the transparent water is distorting the light from the sky and causing a dark, round, circular shadow, just like the eclipse. That's what's happening during an eclipse. that very same thing is happening during the eclipse. There's a region in the sky where there's a warping of the shape of the sky that causes a dark region underneath it. So Angel Fire, flight Johannesburg to Sydney, 11 hours, 45 minutes. And returns takes 14 hours. The eastward speed is 939 kilometers per hour. That's what they say. 19 kilometers per hour faster than cruising speed. Therefore, 19 kilometers per hour tailwind. Westward is 786 kilometers per hour. So westward, 786 kilometers per hour, according to the distances between the places, and eastward, 939 kilometers per hour. Yeah. Big face. Yeah. Nathan is a psycho father. Imagine having that guy as your father. A guy who starts his hangout saying no swearing, and then as soon as people start triggering him, he starts swearing at them. Like, wow, bravo. Risky Poodles, like putting a magnet near a CRT. Hey, yes, it is, Risky Poodles. Anybody who has a compass, okay, I showed this a while ago. If you have a compass, please get a spoon from your kitchen, put your compass down, and bring your spoon close to the compass, and move the spoon around, and see how the spoon being moved influences the flow of magnetism. Watch, I'm going to make a video. I was intending to make a video when Orphan Red came over, but I started coming down with what ended up was a horrible infection. We really wanted to make a video with it. And she's got a really cool, like, from the Bhutan, a really cool ancient compass, like the compass that the Chinese first invented. Really cool because it also shows angles of elevation for the magnetic field. So please, any of you, just do it. Just get a compass, get a spoon, bring it, not obviously not a wooden spoon, bring it close to the compass. You'll see how the compass is influenced by the metal of the spoon, and then move it around. I mean, especially if it's not an aluminium spoon. If you have an aluminium spoon, throw it away. Aluminium's not good for you. Right, cool. My 2 cents. Yeah, cool. Dave Hinkle, any legit objections to map accuracy yet? None. No legit, no objections. No objections. None. Not even illegitimate objections. Like none. No objections. Like, I could object to it. I mean, I could. There are areas in it. I'm an artist. It always happens. You do something and then let it go. Could have done that. None. Using a magnet, it's even better. Lee Redpath. Yes. So with a magnet, especially a ring magnet, put the ring magnet next to it. Don't move the ring magnet around. Just put the ring magnet and then turn the ring magnet without moving it. And watch how you turning it influences the magnetic field. Then remove that magnet and bring a spoon, which is not a magnet, and move the spoon and see how the spoon influences the magnetic field. And then you start understanding magnetism. You'll understand that magnetism has a flow. And by the way, not to blow smoke up his ass, but when asked about this, Del from the Beyond the Imaginary Curve explained, well, thinking about it, it's almost like there's a kind of vortex of some type, which means a place that has a direction, and things would be, well, things would be rushing into it. So anything would be pushed by the things rushing in, like wind, you know. But when it's magnetism, like the electromagnetic field, that we need more words. We need more words to explain. The ether won't cut it. Just saying ether, you might as well be saying wizards. We need more words. That's why I made the word holoprismatic for the sun. We don't have the words to explain it. But yeah, please. Compass, spoon, and I haven't got one here. But pretend this was a spoon, okay? And you're looking down onto the magnet here. Here's the bowl of the spoon. And do this. Move it around. Move it around. Just move the spoon around. Lift it up. Turn it. And you'll start to be able to visualize the river of magnetism that goes to the north. Anyway, that's it, guys. I'm off. Otherwise, I'm never going to quit. Wizards or gravity? Yes, John Ciority. Yes. Right. Okay. Later, all. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you're still listening, Robert, I really hope you feel better soon. Well, I'm glad that you're already better. Let me know. Okay. Later, all.